Good is good, you. It's your boy Sam back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're gonna be going over and ranking our top 10 budget cards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. Now, I just want to start off by saying this. I don't know if budget options, budget cards have ever been more difficult to figure out than right now. Because when I think of like the top budget cards in the game, like the list is short. Obviously, you've got the free rush cards, but they can't be included in the rush set. They've got to be in a separate video. And so when you're talking about budget cards, what's the right way to rank them? Like what's the price you want to set? That's the first thing. Like what do you guys consider a budget card? I think it differs from player to player. For me, I put 25,000 MT. But it's crazy that this year, guys, 25,000 MT really doesn't get you very far. And I'm not trying to hate on 25,000 MT because I think that's valuable. I think that's a good amount of MT. I'm just saying this year for one card, it just doesn't do what it has in the past. So it's just important to know that and kind of structure this from here on. We're going to start it off at number 10 with Isaac Okoro here. Glitch Isaac Okoro, Ruby Isaac Okoro. Used him for a little bit on the Nobody Spent Squad series. Did I love him? I mean, he was fine. I used him. He played decent defense. Release-wise, was fine. Knocked down some shots. He wasn't, in my opinion, like game-breaking good, though. Like, he's a card that can hold it down. Not game-breaking good. And I think that's why, you know, him being in here at number 10 is just the right spot. Just think he's a little too undersized. Can't be your primary ball handler. Just think there are overall better options. But like if I look up Isaac Okoro, his stats and badges are definitely some of a guy that can at least hold it down at that shooting guard position. And if you don't think he can, I just think you're wrong. It's that simple, that easy. Isaac Okoro coming in here at number 10. At my number 9, Amethyst Taylor Hendricks. A lot of these guys, a lot of the guys on here are going to be Amethyst cards. Taylor Hendricks, I think, is just a guy that, again, similar to Okoro at his position, Taylor Hendricks at that small forward position can just hold it down. Now, a lot of people have just really figured out what Taylor Hendricks does, what he can provide for you, just because they're trying to knock down threes with Jazz players. Obviously, that was a challenge for a rush set. Taylor Hendricks obviously can do that with a 93 ball and a lot of shooting badges, but good frame at the 3. Not going to be a guy that, again, blows you away, but is a guy that can for sure hold it down there at either the small forward or a power forward position. Coming in here at number 8, Mr. Beauchamp. Now, I really started realizing how good Beauchamp could be this year when I started playing Play Now with the Bucks. He's just, it starts with his release, in my opinion. Straight up and down, easy to time, easy to green, good release. Player build, solid as well, 6'7" at the 2. And that's one thing, if you're comparing Beauchamp to, let's say, a guy like Okoro at my number 10. In my opinion, that's the big difference here. Beauchamp's longer, lengthier, gonna get you probably more stops. His release, again, is straight up and down, easy to time, relatively easy to green. That's my big difference between the two cards. Whether who you like more is really preference based, but Beauchamp definitely is a guy you can have out there on the court. It's not gonna hurt you. Hall of Fame challenger, good player build, can get you paint stops. I am a Beauchamp fan in my team. At my number 7, we're going to go to the big man here in Mr. Mo Bamba. Now, if you've not used Mo Bamba this year, you might think Ty's release is kind of baited. It has been in the past. This year is a little bit different. And I'm not saying his release is perfect and his badges are perfect, because one of the biggest downsides to Mo Bamba is I personally just wish he had more total badges. And I think that's a fair thing of me to say. You know, 24 badges isn't a ton. But a high 3 ball, decent speed, solid defense. I think when Mo Bamba came out, I didn't respect him as much as I should have. His release can carry the card quite a bit, no matter the situation, and that's really what Mo Bamba is going to do the best. One thing I wish on Mo Bamba is that he could play that power forward position, because I mean, it's just kind of expected at this point for a Mo Bamba. Can only play center, does hold him back slightly, but no matter what I think about Mo Bamba, if you use the card, you're gonna have some success. At my number 6, we've got a free card that also it also is available to buy at this point. That is Amethyst Spencer Dinwiddie. When the card first came out, I was stunned with how good Spencer Dinwiddie was. I'll be the first to tell you, I did not expect him to be as good as he was. Just because it's like Spencer Dinwiddie in 2K, I feel like most times isn't great. Obviously, this card is just that little bit different. But when I used him, I'm like, man, for a free card, this card's fantastic. So if you have Spencer Dinwiddie for free, definitely would consider using the card. Now, obviously, if you don't have him, you can get him. I think he's like right around 15,000 MT, which isn't super bad. Has a good release, 6'5", good player build. He's just an overall solid point guard in my team. And I feel like right now, again, in my team, I don't want to say height's overpowered, because it's not. You know, the Yaos of the world aren't overpowered. The guys like Wemby's good. It's not like he's overpowered, though. But I think positional size is important. Now, what does that mean? It basically means that your guys can defend every position. Like, Dinwiddie's obviously not going to be guarding some of the centers, but I think he can guard like 1 through 4 for the most part, 1 through 3 for sure. And that's super important compared to, like, if you're going to run again, I'm just going to throw out a name, like a 6'1", I don't know, a 6'1" point guard. That's really where I think Spencer Dinwiddie has the advantage. I like him. I got him for free and did a gameplay of him. Go check it out. You're going to like Spencer Dinwiddie in my team. Cracking our top 5 here. We're plugging in Mr. Anderson Varejao. Now, I got to give credit to DBG for kind of putting me onto Anderson Varejao. Do I wish his 3-ball was higher? Absolutely. I mean, I can't sit here and sugarcoat things. Anderson Varejao doesn't have the highest 3-ball that I would be hoping for. But he still, overall, is a really solid card. And if there's any guy that you know, I forget about on here, I do want to apologize. But he's got a 73-ball, 80 speed. But defense, he's got half anchor, box out beast, and rebound chaser. For a budget big, you can't ask for much more out of an Anderson Varejao guy. 6'11". Shag base obviously isn't ideal, isn't great, but the card can play at a pretty high level, especially defensively. And that's the one thing for me. If you watch my videos, you know I prioritize defense more than nearly anything else in the court. Anderson Varejao gonna be able to go out there and get you some stops. At my number 4 here, we're plugging in another center, this one being Amethyst DeAndre. Now, when you're looking at, let's say, Amethyst centers, I think you've got to talk about both DeAndre Ayton as well as Anderson Varejao. Now, a lot of people are hyping up Gortat. He probably should have been here in the top 10. I just personally haven't used the card, so another guy you can think about here. But I think DeAndre Ayton, in my opinion, is better than even a guy like Gortat. Let's talk about why. I think for DeAndre Ayton and me, it always starts with his defensive player model player build. His player build is so good in 2K, and it's one of those things you don't really realize how good it is unless you use it. Like, I've used DeAndre Ayton quite a bit this year, and I can firsthand tell you guys how good and impactful that player build is. Meanwhile, 74 3-ball. Is that great? No, but if you want to badge him up, give him catch and shoot, his release is fantastic. I needed rebounds with Suns players. I think it was for one of the rush agendas. And DeAndre Ayton, I had put him out there in unlimited, and he wasn't a liability. It's not like he can't compete at the highest level. I'm a big DeAndre Ayton fan, and if you need a budget big, he is the guy I personally would recommend. At my number 3, Amethyst Anthony Black, a long, lengthy point guard that can compete at the highest level. Way better than Spencer Dinwiddie. And I like Spencer Dinwiddie, but Anthony Black is for sure better. Not really. Is it comparable? Sure, but I'm telling you, defensively, Anthony Black is going to be just a little bit better. Anthony Black has a smooth release. He's got good defense because he is 6'7" at the point guard position. And I mean, as long as you do those two things, as long as he plays good defense, knocks down shots, that's all I personally need from him on the court. Now, I know some people might be like, well, Ty, I want my Anthony Black to do a little more. I want my Anthony Black to be able to handle the ball, be a primary ball, all those things, okay? And if that's you, I respect it. I'm not going to sit here and hate on it because I respect it. I want him to do that too. But you just got to limit your expectations. Remember, he's an amethyst. He's a budget point guard. He's not going to go out there and be a primary ball handler and the best lockdown defender. What he's going to do, provide great positional size, a good release, and solid defense. Coming in at my number 2, when we're talking about budget cards, is the Amethyst Leonard Miller. Now, I hyped him up when this card came out 2 weeks ago because he literally was one of the only cards I could hype up. Everybody else is behind gambling. But trust me when I tell you, Leonard Miller, he's really, really good. Let's start with the release. He's got the Rui Hachimura base. Now, the upper is a little different. So, I mean, it is a little different than the Hachimura release. But it's still super smooth, straight up and down, relatively easy to time, relatively easy to green. And he's got good defense too. He's got upper 80s along basically all of his defensive stats. Trust me, watch my No Money Spent Squad series. I know I'm trying to tell you guys to watch that because that should help you guys out if you're struggling with some of these options. But Leonard Miller is fantastic for that. I mean, I'm starting to get better and better small forwards at this stage. Like James Worthy's coming home soon, so I don't know how long Leonard Miller is going to be there for. But for now, he's there, and the card is absolutely fantastic. Coming in as my best budget card in the entire game right now, Peyton Watson. And honestly, I don't know if it's close. Peyton Watson is so good in my team. If I'm looking at these cards saying, okay, who can compete at a competitive level? Peyton Watson, in my opinion, is the only guy that I'm putting out there at that highest level that I'm like, he can compete. He's 6'7", has a great release at the 2, great player build, plays great defense. What can Peyton Watson not do on the court? I don't know, because he does everything for me and my No Money Spent Squad series. There's a big and large difference from when I play and have Peyton Watson out there on the court from when I don't have him on the court. This card is one of my personal favorite cards that I've used, not only on my No Money Spent Squad series, but just in general this year. He's been fun to use, especially because I know he's cheap and that a lot of people can get him and just have a lot of success, again, using the card. So this is my top 10 budget cards. Again, guys like Gortat, you obviously could have plugged in here on this list. Any of these other Ammies that you guys kind of want to prioritize, obviously you could. Some guys, other guys, like even an Ammy Cade Cunningham, I mean, I still think is solid enough that you can run and have some success with. But these are the top 10 that really caught my attention. Let me know who I missed out on down below in the comments, who I was too high on, too low on. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.